They won't say it out loud. They won't ask for it directly. But if you observe carefully, if you watch their eyes, their energy, their body language, you'll know. 99% of women want this. But they'll never tell you. Not because they're playing games, not because they're trying to manipulate, but because even they may not realize it fully. Because the thing they desire most isn't a luxury car, six-pack abs, or $1 billion business. It's something far more rare, something almost extinct in today's world, something that can't be faked, bought, or borrowed. They want a man who leads, not with control, but with presence. Let that sink in. This world is overflowing with boys and grown men's bodies, scrolling endlessly, chasing shallow pleasures, trying to impress women instead of understanding them, trying to prove value instead of embodying it. But the man who doesn't chase, the man who doesn't need her but chooses her, the man who can make her feel seen, heard, and safe, that man, he is unforgettable. And she may never admit it, but deep in her core, that's what she longs for. She wants to melt, not because she's weak, but because she's finally in the presence of a man who is strong enough to hold her fire. She wants to surrender, not because she lacks power, but because she trusts his. She wants to rest, not because she can't carry her load, but because he gives her permission to put it down. Now here's the truth, you can't pretend to be that man. You become him, and it's not through flexing your muscles or memorizing pickup lines. It's through building your inner kingdom. She wants the man who is grounded, unshakable, who doesn't get lost in her storms, but becomes the anchor in them. She tests you not because she wants to push you away, but because she wants to know you won't disappear when she shows her depth. She challenges you not because she doesn't respect you, but because she wants to see if you respect yourself. See, a woman's heart isn't won by logic. It's felt. And if your energy says, "I need your validation," she'll smile politely and walk away emotionally. But if your energy says, "I see you but I'm not lost in you," she'll lean in, slowly, quietly, even if she doesn't understand why. That's the paradox. She wants to be led, but not controlled. She wants your strength, but not your ego. She wants your love, but only if it's rooted in self-love first. You don't attract this kind of woman or awaken this side of a woman by being perfect. You attract her by being real, solid, disciplined, clear in who you are. You want her to open up emotionally. Then stop being a boy who gets emotionally hijacked by every mood swing. You want her to submit to your leadership. Then become someone worth following, through action, not demand. You want her to stay loyal. Then become the kind of man who is loyal to his own word, mission, and values. Because she is watching. Not your stories, not your words, but your energy, your direction, your ability to stay calm in chaos. Every woman, deep down, wants to feel held. Not physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. But most men never build the strength to do that. Most men want the reward without the responsibility. Most men want feminine energy but remain boys. Brittle, insecure, inconsistent. Be different. You see, there's a reason she loses interest even when you're doing everything right. It's because she doesn't feel you leading. Not in dominance, but in depth. Not in arrogance, but in awareness. Not in fear, but in fierce, quiet presence. Presence that doesn't need her. Presence that chooses her consciously. That's what she wants. That's what ignites the feminine. That's what unlocks the devotion she doesn't even know she's holding back. But this kind of leadership requires work. You must lead yourself first. Your emotions. Your reactions. When she gets moody, do you collapse into guilt? When she pulls away, do you chase and beg? When she opens up vulnerably, do you get awkward or go numb? That's not leadership. That's avoidance. That's boyhood. But if you can stay rooted, if you can breathe through the discomfort, if you can hold space for her chaos without becoming chaotic, she'll feel something she hasn't felt in years. Safety, freedom, real polarity. She may not say it. She may not thank you with words. But you'll see it. In the way she looks at you. In the way she softens around you. In the way she trusts you with her wildness. But don't get it twisted. She's not looking for a father. She's not looking for a savior. She's not looking to be dominated. She's looking for a mirror, a container, a presence so strong that she can finally let go. And that only comes from discipline, not fake alpha dominance, but quiet power, the kind that comes from mastering your inner world. So what does she want? That 99% of women will never say out loud. She wants a man who can lead himself and invite her into his world without controlling hers. She wants a man with direction, not distraction. She wants a man who doesn't try to fix her emotions, but feels safe enough to hold them. She wants to be safe to be soft. But that safety only comes when you become a fortress within yourself. Start small. Wake up earlier. Honor your word. Build a purpose beyond pleasure. Be intentional with your energy. Don't give it away cheaply. When she sees you prioritize growth, when she sees you can say no with grace, when she sees you don't fear her emotions, she'll start opening up in ways that even she didn't know were possible. And here's the beautiful part, you don't have to chase her to make this happen. You just have to become the man who no longer chases anything, because everything good is attracted to him naturally. Leadership is not about barking orders, it's about being calm in a world full of noise. It's about staying grounded when others panic. It's about showing restraint, not because you're afraid to act, but because you know when not to. That's power. And that's what she wants. She wants your heart, but only if it's held inside a spine of steel. She wants your devotion, but only if it's built on your devotion to your mission. She wants to follow your lead, but only if it's clear you know where you're going. You don't find this kind of woman by accident. You attract her by design. So stop looking outward. Start building inward. She will the shift. She will sense the evolution. She will respond in ways you can't force or fake. And maybe, just maybe, she'll never say it, but in her silence, in her softness, in the way she looks at you like you're the only man on earth, you'll know. You became the 99% of women silently crave, and you didn't even have to ask for it. You simply became it. Women deeply desire emotional leadership in a man, someone who can hold space for their feelings without being reactive, but they rarely express this openly. And it's not because they're playing games or trying to hide their needs, it's because emotional safety is something that can't be asked for. It has to be felt. Every woman has emotions running beneath the surface, fears, dreams, doubts, hopes. And when she begins to share those with a man, she's not just speaking, she's testing. She's not testing to hurt you, but to see, can you handle the storm without becoming the storm? Can you stay present, grounded, and calm, even when her emotions are messy or intense? This is what true emotional leadership is about. It's not about solving her problems. It's not about having the perfect response. It's not about quoting some self help book back at her. It's about being a safe space in human form. It's about being so rooted in your own emotional maturity that her chaos doesn't rattle your clarity. When she's emotional, she doesn't need you to fix it. She needs to feel that her emotions are welcome, not something to be managed, silenced, or judged. She needs to feel that you can witness her tears without pulling away, that you can hold her anger without being defensive, that you can embrace her vulnerability without retreating into your own ego. Most men can't do this. They get triggered, they argue, they shut down, they take it personally. And in that moment, she learns, I cannot trust him with my emotions. And once a woman decides that, consciously or unconsciously, she starts to pull back. But the man who can lead emotionally, the man who doesn't flinch at emotional truth, the man who can stay solid without becoming cold, he becomes the rarest kind of presence in her life. Because emotional leadership doesn't scream, it soothes. It doesn't dominate, it holds. It doesn't shrink away, it expands. You want to be the man she opens up to when life gets heavy. Then become the man who doesn't crumble when she shows her rawest, realest self. Because the truth is, she's not looking for perfection. She's not expecting you to never feel anything. She just wants to know that your nervous system won't collapse under the weight of her truth. You don't lead her emotions by controlling them. You lead by being an example. By being steady when she's shaken, clear when she's confused, kind when she's overwhelmed. And that's not weakness, that's mastery. That's the kind of masculinity that magnetizes the feminine. When you give her the freedom to feel everything, without the fear of losing you, that's when she gives you everything, without reservation. That's the power of emotional leadership. And though 99% of women won't say this out loud, every part of her body, heart, and soul is craving it. Confidence, clarity, and purpose driven masculinity are magnetic to women, but these traits are felt through action, not declared through words. You can't just walk into a room and say, I'm confident. You can't just tell her, I know who I am. You can't just talk about your purpose and expect her to be impressed. Because a woman doesn't listen to your words, she listens to your energy, to your consistency, to the way you move through life when no one is watching. Confidence isn't loud, it doesn't need to be. True confidence shows up in the way you walk into a room without needing to dominate it, in the way you make eye contact without needing approval, in the way you speak your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, without aggression and without apology. Clarity is equally powerful. It's the way you know what you want, and you don't waver when others try to pull you off track. It's the way you can say yes and truly mean it and say no without guilt. It's the way you don't second guess your decisions every time someone challenges you. A man with clarity doesn't chase women, he attracts them. Because his direction is already set, and women feel that. They sense it in how you carry yourself. They feel it in your stillness, in your discipline, in your refusal to be distracted by every passing impulse. And then there's purpose. Purpose is the deepest current running beneath it all. It's the reason you wake up in the morning. It's the fire behind your eyes. It's the structure behind your decisions. A man on purpose doesn't need to convince anyone of his value. He embodies it. His actions speak louder than any compliment. His consistency is more seductive than any pickup line. You could be broke if still building, still figuring it out, but if she feels that you're walking with intention, that you're aligned with something bigger than ego or validation, she'll respect you, she'll remember you, she'll lean in. Because most men talk, few follow through. Most chase attention, few chase vision. Most want to be seen, few want to be sharpened. So understand this, you don't need to tell her you're a man of confidence. You don't need to tell her you're alpha, ambitious, or valuable. She will know. Before you even speak, she will know by how you respond to pressure, by how you treat people who can't offer you anything, by how you show up when things aren't going your way. Confidence is how you carry yourself after rejection. Clarity is how you make decisions when you're alone. Purpose is what keeps you moving when no one's clapping for you. Women are intuitive. They feel your core before they analyze your character. They feel your cause before they hear your charm. And they feel your purpose long before you pitch it. So stop declaring who you are. Start living it. Let your focus do the talking. Let your follow through do the proving. Let your silence hold more weight than someone else's noise. Because in a world full of distraction, desperation, and performance, a man who is calm, clear, and walking his path without needing to prove it, that man becomes irresistible. And that man, he's not chasing her. He's building a life she wants to be part of. Not because he asked, but because he became. The majority of women crave safety. Not just physical safety, but emotional safety. To fully open up, to surrender, to soften into their true feminine nature. But here's the catch, most will never say it. They'll never openly admit it. Not because they're playing hard to get, but because prior and societal pressure keep them silent about this deepest of needs. You see, we live in a world that tells women to be strong all the time, to be independent, to never need a man, to always have it together. And while strength and independence are powerful, they're not the whole story. Beneath that strength, in the quiet spaces of her heart, she wants to feel held. Not just touched, but held emotionally. She wants to feel that she can lay her guard down, that she can cry without being judged, that she can be her full self without being too much, too emotional, too intense, too complicated. Because the truth is, most women carry a heavy emotional weight. They're tired of performing, tired of always being the strong one, tired of being told, you're too sensitive, or why are you overreacting? So they shut down, they smile through the chaos, they pretend to be okay, and they test. Yes, they test you. Because what she really wants to know is this: can I fall apart in front of you and will you still stay? Can I show you my fear and will you hold me tighter, not pull away? Can I be safe in your presence, not just physically but in my soul? And here's where most men fail, they get confused. They try to fix her. They think her emotions are problems to be solved instead of storms to be witnessed. They get frustrated when she's not logical, when she seems too much. But emotional safety isn't logical. It's primal. It's energetic. It's the way you look at her when she's crying, not with annoyance, but with understanding. It's the way you breathe slowly when she's spinning in anxiety, not matching her storm, but grounding it. She craves safety in your stillness. She surrenders to your steadiness. She wants to know that your masculinity isn't just about dominance, it's about depth. It's about being able to handle all the layers of her without fear or judgment. Because the world makes her hard. But you can make her soft again, not with gifts, not with compliments, but with patience, with power, not over her, but for her. This is the kind of safety that unlocks devotion. This is what makes a woman say, I trust him with my heart, not because you never made a mistake, but because you made her feel seen. Even in her mess, heard, even her silence, safe, even her storm. But most men never get here. They don't build the emotional depth to hold space for a woman's full truth. They want her body but can't handle her soul. They want her loyalty but can't give her a safe place to be vulnerable. So she adapts. She builds walls. She tells herself, I don't need anyone. And though she might laugh, post selfies, and look strong inside, she's waiting. Waiting for the man who can look her in the eyes and say, without words, you don't have to carry it all anymore. I've got you. Not because she's weak, but because she's tired of being strong alone. So if you want to awaken the part of her she's hidden from the world, if you want to be the man who unlocks her softness, her trust, her loyalty, then become the safe space she's been silently craving. Not by pretending, not by controlling, but by becoming the calm in her storm. That's the safety she'll never say she needs. But if you offer it, she will never forget you.